Hi everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into Stellar Bancorp's latest report. It's like peeking behind the curtain to see if the financial wizardry is real or just smoke and mirrors. Let's find out if Stellar is shining bright or just twinkling a bit. This report is dated April 25, 2025, so we're getting a look at what happened in the first 3 months of that year. It's basically a quarterly checkup on the company's financial health. This isn't just any document, it's a full 8K. Companies use these to tell investors about big, important events that could affect the stock price. So clearly the company thinks this is some pretty significant stuff. The company we're looking at today is Stellar Bancorp, Inc. They're based in Houston, Texas. You may not have heard of them, but they're a publicly traded company, so their performance matters to a lot of people. If you're interested in investing, their stock trades under the ticker symbol STEL on the New York Stock Exchange. They have common stock with a par value of $0.01 per share. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. Results. Stellar Bancorp released a press release about their first quarter financial results. It's all in here. Along with the press release, they've included an earnings presentation, basically a slideshow that summarizes how things are going. We can learn some important information from it. Here's a key legal point. The company is saying that some of this information isn't officially filed with the SEC in the strictest sense. Think of it like sharing information but not wanting to be held liable for every single detail as if it were on trial. Stellar Bancorp held an investor conference call to talk about these results. They posted the earnings release and presentation on their website and included it here. Again, they're saying this information isn't officially filed for legal reasons. It's publicly available, but they're covering their bases in case something turns out to be slightly off. Let's take a quick look at the exhibits. We've got the earnings release and the earnings presentation. These are the meat and potatoes of what we're examining today. Before we get too excited, there's a section on forward-looking statements. Basically, they're saying, hey, we're making predictions about the future, but things could change. It's a standard disclaimer because nobody has a crystal ball. They mention that real results could be different because of known and unknown risks, uncertainties, and other factors. They use words like anticipate, believes, and acts, so keep in mind what you read here is not necessarily what will happen. If you want to dig even deeper, they point you to their annual report on Form 10K, and quarterly reports on Form 10K, and quarterly reports on Form 10K. Those documents have even more details about potential risks. Now, let's step back and consider what this all means. Stellar Bancorp is telling us about its recent performance. They are also hedging against future uncertainty, as every company does. The core of what we're interested in is the earnings release and presentation. They give us the hard numbers on how the bank is doing. Without the actual earnings release and presentation included in this filing, it is difficult to give specific financial numbers. However, in general, here's what investors and analysts would look for. Revenue. Did Stellar Bancorp bring in more money than they did the previous quarter or the same quarter last year? Increases are good and show the bank is growing. Expenses. Are they spending more or less money to operate? Keeping expenses low helps increase profits. Net income, the ultimate measure of profitability. Is the bank making more money after all expenses are paid? Loan growth. Are they lending more money? Lending is how banks make money, so growth here is essential. Deposit growth. Are people and businesses putting their money in Stellar Bancorp? More deposits mean more funds available for lending. Net interest margin. This is the difference between what the bank earns on loans and what it pays out on deposits. A higher margin means more profit. Asset quality. Are the loans they've made still good? Are people paying them back? If not, the bank might have problems. Capital ratios. Does the bank have enough capital assets minus liabilities to handle unexpected losses? Regulators keep a close eye on these ratios. We don't have the numbers here, but in general, you would look for trends. Is the bank getting better over time, or are there worrying signs? Now let's talk about how to think about this information. As Warren Buffett famously said, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. So how do we apply that thinking here? We need to look beyond the surface and see what the numbers are really telling us. Are the reported profits sustainable, or are they a result of one-time events? For example, a bank can temporarily boost profits by selling off assets, but that doesn't mean its core business is doing well. We also want to know whether the bank is taking on too much risk. Are they making loans to borrowers who might not be able to repay them? Are they investing in risky assets? Remember, banks that grow too quickly can run into trouble if they're not careful. Ultimately, whether or not Stellar Bancorp is a solid company is not just about one quarter's results. It's about its long-term strategy, its risk management practices, and the overall health of the economy in which it operates. So what can we take away from this SEC filing? Firstly, SEC filings like this one are a vital source of information for investors. They offer a glimpse into a company's operations, financials, and future outlook. Secondly, it's important to not take these reports at face value, conduct your own research and analysis. In conclusion, Stellar Bancorp has put out a report that, without the actual numbers, doesn't say too much. However, if their numbers are strong and they're managing their risks wisely, Stellar Bancorp could be a star to watch. If not, there could be some turbulence ahead. Thanks for decoding this corporate report with me. If you found this helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps me bring you more of these breakdowns. Until next time, stay curious and keep decoding.